Welcome back to Fans and the Pros. Mike Hoss and Deuce McAllister, and we are joined on the phone now by Bram Wenstein, who is a Maryland native, and he is the voice of the Washington football team. Give me your assessment of this Washington football team.
So we're going to find out how deep they are this weekend. That was a priority in the offseason for them. They really had a couple of choices. They talked about spending a lot of draft capital to potentially move up and try to make a move and get one of the rookie quarterbacks. They attempted to get Matthew Stafford. They were outbid by the Rams. So they went a different direction, and they decided to build the depth of the team, which was really necessary. I mean, they won their division a year ago, but it was at 7-9. And so they recognized that they needed to get better across the board, and they did. And you're going to see it this weekend because they had 13 guys on the injury list today, and it doesn't include the 2 that went on IR, including their best offensive lineman, Brandon Sheriff, their best tight end, Logan Thomas, their middle linebacker, John Bostic, and we're going to find out how deep they are. And as for Heinicke, he wasn't supposed to be the starter. They brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick. But there's something about him. He came in off the street. I think everybody who kind of follows the league knows his story. He was in business school. He had tore up, ODU, Old Dominion University, lower level college football. But he's small. He doesn't have a big arm. He doesn't look the part. He was undrafted, barely getting a shot around the league. Scott Turner, our offensive coordinator, liked him, had him up in Minnesota, brought him to Carolina. He had one opportunity to get one start, and they ran into a problem last year. Alex Smith was hurt. Dwayne Haskins ended up being benched. Kyle Allen got hurt. They ran out of quarterbacks. They bring him in. He at least knows the system. And the guy had Washington within 2 points of Tom Brady in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. So he had earned his right to compete. And they let him compete. And the fans love him. We have not had a quarterback around here who kind of shows this kind of moxie. And he's brought him back twice in both of these games. 2 scores in the fourth quarter to take leads. Not just 1, 2. And he's done it twice in the last minute. And you guys will see this weekend. I mean, we have not had someone kind of galvanize the fan base the way he has really since Robert Griffin III, at least in his rookie season. So it's been a while here. We have not been fortunate to have the greatest quarterback play for a long time around here, and I think people like Heinicke. And now whether he's a flash in a pan or a fairy tale, we're not sure. We're trying to find that out.
And that's really what I was going to ask you. I mean, and because that's the sentiment, from just talking to a couple of the reporters, you really don't know yet. You don't know, and that's what I was telling them. You don't know. He hadn't played enough, whether he can be the long-term answer. But just talk about Terry, McLaurin, just what he brings. And I've tried to tell people that, and his nickname is Scary Terry, but I've tried to tell he is a legit superstar in the NFL, and whether people know him or not, if he had a consistent quarterback, everybody would know it. Everybody would know exactly who he is, and just talk a little bit about he and what he brings to the team, to that offense.
He is a stud, and it's been this way since day one. And this is his 3rd year in the league, and he was a rookie 3rd-round pick. And I'll never forget this. In the summer, they're practicing in training camp, and they're practicing, and all of a sudden the preseason games roll around. Have you ever heard of a rookie who is probably going to start not playing a single down in the preseason games, and yet all the other starters play? Because I've never heard of that. And they were hiding him. And he came out, and it was gangbusters on the Eagles week 1, 2.5 years ago now. And it's just gotten better ever since. He's a hard worker. He's a great person. He really takes this extremely seriously. I think he has the longest running streak of targets without a single drop. He hasn't dropped a pass since his rookie season. He made a couple of plays last week, including one in the fourth quarter that, it was a desperation heave up middle of the end zone, and he just bullied his way around a defensive back, made a touchdown. He's a total stud. And to your point, Deuce, he's played with 8 different quarterbacks. Think about that. In the short period of time that he's been here, 8. If and when they find whoever that guy is, whether it's Taylor Heinicke or it's in the draft next year or it's a veteran or whatever they do, we are hoping for his sake that he'll end up getting some consistency around here because he has already surpassed team records for most catches, most yards.